Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. This is the Woo Report, episode 190. Breaking news over the wire. The Devils get the number 2 overall pick in the 2022 NHL Draft on ESPN today. Just about 15 minutes ago, Bill Daly flipping the cards. Devils had an 8.5% chance to get the first overall pick, but they lost out to the Montreal Canadiens, who had the worst record, 18.5% chance to winning the first overall pick in the 2022 NHL entry draft. I'm your host, Sam Wu. This is the Woo Report, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Thank you for joining us. Want to get your live rapid reaction coming in. I don't know what you folks think, what you're going to make out of it, but I'll tell you what I think. What will Tom Fitzgerald do with the second overall pick? What will he do? He's been in this position before with high draft picks. Last season, 4th overall, now 2nd overall. The Devils this year had struggled at times, but they did make progress with their marquee players. First and foremost, Jack Hughes had a pretty good season. Couple injuries, a little bit concerning, but Jack Hughes, the first overall pick in 2019, shown what he can do. You got to think about Nico Hischier stepping it up, the captain at the young age of 23, leading this young team. Jesper Bratt, breakout year. You got to pay the man. And these are decisions that Tom Fitzgerald is going to have to make, especially when, I think Devils fans like myself, like you, are probably sick of all the losing. If there's a consolation prize, again, is a high draft pick. But have no fear. Now, the Utica Comets, the Devils' AHL affiliate, are in the playoffs. Will play the Rochester Americans. Actually, they're playing them right now at home at the Adirondack Bank Center in Utica. But really, the path goes through Utica right now because the Devils have rebuilt their farm system. Not completely, but let me tell you, that's a start. And we have yet to see Muhammadulin. He may possibly play. Got his visa with the team right now. Dawson Mercer had a great rookie season, unexpectedly making the roster. Had a couple slumps here and there, but you know what? Overall, a solid rookie season. These are Tom Fitzgerald's picks. Alexander Holtz, he's going to have to show what he's going to do in Utica tonight. Because right now, things are looking good for the New Jersey Devils. And I know you've heard it over and over and over again. I know some of you fans jumped the gun when Barry Trotz got fired by the Islanders. Old school Lou Lamoriello doing it again. We know all about it, all the coaches he goes through. But I will tell you this. Ignore the shenanigans. It's all eyes on the Utica Comets. That is the Devils' future. The Devils are loaded with a lot of high first-round draft picks in the pipeline. Now, notice I said pipeline. Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier did not have the benefit of developing in the AHL. They were right off the bat in the NHL. and had to learn as they went. And they're doing pretty well right now, and that's a positive. And that's why I've defended Lindy Ruff. And I will continue to defend Lindy Ruff, why he should be the coach for at least one more season to prove himself. He was not brought in here to improve the defense or even goaltending, that matter. He was there to develop their young stars, their forwards that they have. Look at where Jack Hughes is right now. Look at where Nico Hischier is right now. They're endorsing Lindy Ruff. They want to continue with him. And I think in this situation, they should continue with Lindy Ruff. That continuity will give some stability to the team. But now it's up to Lindy Ruff right now. You got to hold him accountable. You've already let go Elaine Nazardine and Mark Recchi. Now it's either put up or shut up, Lindy. And let's see if you can get this young team over the hump to a better place. Kevin Dineen coaching the Utica Comets. Oh, boy. How about the Utica Comets? First in the North, getting the bye, now playing the Rochester Americans. A whiteout conditions. That's what Utica Comets press release said, whiteout conditions. Got to get up there to Utica to watch the future of the New Jersey Devils as the pipeline is being filled with high draft picks. How did the Devils get second overall? I don't know. I think the Devils and amongst other teams got hosed in 2020 when the Rangers somehow mysteriously got Alexis Lafreniere, who I just don't care. And how are the Rangers right now? They can't rely on stellar goaltending in the playoffs because in the playoffs, you get exposed. And right now, the Rangers are down 3-1. They made all these moves to beef up after what happened when Tom Wilson messed around with a couple, throwing Rangers around like a rag doll. And they overreacted. And they got fined $500,000. Do you remember that press release? Yeah, the Rangers, they made the playoffs with Gerard Gallant. Remember Gallant spurning the Devils? Both Laviolette and Gallant, but Lindy Ruff was the choice? I don't know. Was it not enough money? I don't know. But Lindy Ruff is here. He is the coach as of now, and they need to improve the defense, the goaltending. Tom Fitzgerald has said about that he will improve the goaltending. How is he going to do it? I don't know. We don't know. We shall see. And I want to get your questions, comments on the YouTube Live, Facebook Live, which is humming right now. We've got a lot of people on. Thomas says, if you compare the Devils drafting high to the Oilers' top picks of 10 years ago, this is our Nail Yakupov year. Say it ain't so. Hey, you know what? Let's stay a little positive here, folks. You really don't know how draft picks really turn out. Nobody really knows. You have a good idea, but do you really know? Honestly, do you really know how these picks turn out? You don't. You've got the second overall pick. Did we really know how the Flyers, when they picked Nolan Patrick, how he would turn out? Looks like Ray Shero picked the right guy. But now people are talking about Cale Makar. We all thought that Colorado, who had probably the worst record, I think, that year when Hischier was selected, everyone thought Colorado got hosed with that fourth overall. But you know what? It looks like Cale Makar may be the best guy in that draft. So you really don't know. look at last season. Owen Power, first overall. Luke Hughes, fourth overall. Look at what Luke Hughes did with Michigan. I don't want to overhype Luke Hughes because it is Michigan. I'm not sure if the opponents that they played really give you a good sample size because Michigan is so dominant with all the players that they had on the roster. But when Luke Hughes, he got, as a freshman, he shined. And he got in the highlight reels. And I think Luke Hughes is going to be a big part of the New Jersey Devils in a couple years as that pipeline is being filled. Now they've got to focus on, well, defense, discipline. Let's talk about those sloppy plays this past season. These are all correctable. But the main thing is the Devils accomplished last season what they should have accomplished is develop Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier because there is a significant investment with these two centermen down the middle like Malkin and Crosby. And you have to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, what they're doing to the New York Rangers right now because this team, the New Jersey Devils, are kind of built like the Penguins. The Penguins went through a rebuilding period, not as long as the Devils. When they went bankrupt, well, Vanderbeek kind of ran the team financially into the ground. Then the ownership group, Mario Lemieux, comes in. The savior, okay, you owe me a lot of money. Just give me the team. Let me make money myself. New arena, okay. Then they got lucky in the draft. Goaltending, Marc-Andre Fleury. Sidney Crosby, that mysterious 2005 entry draft. Malkin, Jordan Stahl. That's how they built that team. And you look at them now, and I think that the Devils are following that path because Ray Shero, now Tom Fitzgerald, is the Devils GM. There are certain things that he needs to figure out before this team starts to really roll. And it all starts in Utica. Now, if Lindy Ruff doesn't turn out to be the guy, which very could well be, he could be fired by November or December. But there's Kevin Dineen and what he's done with that young crew. He knows his team better than Barry Trotz. And I know that people want Barry Trotz, and that's a knee-jerk reaction. His resume speaks for himself. But I'm telling you, if it's not Lindy Ruff, if I had to choose who was going to be the next head coach of the New Jersey Devils, it's got to be Kevin Dineen. Kevin Dineen knows what he's doing. Kevin Dineen played in the NHL, well-respected player, well-respected leader. He is serious. He gets the most out of his players. Look what he did with that 2012 Florida team that took the Devils on brink of elimination when they went on that run to the Stanley Cup Finals. If it wasn't for Adam Henrique, overtime, clutch goals late in the game, Game 7, we'd be talking differently about Kevin Dineen. Ramona Rice says, I don't want Trotz. That's what she says. I don't want Trotz. I don't want Trotz either. And I'm not saying Barry Trotz is not a good coach, but he's not right for the players that have been developed. Could you see Barry Trotz running the Pittsburgh Penguins in the last 10, 15 years? It would be a completely different team. You got to look at the Penguins, what they've done in the last 15 years, because it's the same formula of what the Devils are doing. The Penguins tank. And then they got some playoff experience. They lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Detroit Red Wings, but got revenge the year after. And I think Getty 27, I think he's under a new screen name. Barzal wasn't a fan of Trotz, and we have so many kids that play similar to Barzal. Jack likes Ruff. Remember that. Jack likes rough. Sam Wu likes rough as well. Lindy Ruff, I will stand by him, deserves one more season. He's been through hell with this team. No coach deserves to see the crap that he had to put up with. Where, you know what? Players did respond to him when he started benching them. Jesper Bratt, early in the season, he learned his lesson, turned out to have a career year, pushing the right buttons. Lindy Ruff. Ty Smith was on a super sophomore slump, benched, came back, had a pretty good 3 or 4, 5 games. Kevin Ball, okay, he came up, young kids, and let's talk about some of the Utica kids. Kevin Ball, first tour of duty, not so good. Intimidated, went back to AHL. He had the benefit of developing under Kevin Dineen and his staff. Kevin Ball coming up, hey, not bad. Laying the physical presence. And look how big this defense is going to be. You talk about beef. Ryan Graves, Dougie Hamilton. They need to play better. But that's some beef there. You can't teach size. You can't teach size. Thomas says Subban was on ESPN, called the Devils rebuilding, and said he is happy for them. LOL. PK Subban, hey, you know what? I enjoyed his time with the Devils. PK, I wish him well. I wouldn't mind if he came back, but obviously it's all about money. Michael Cashley on the YouTube Live says, I agree, Sam. I will take number 2 pick. Yeah, I mean, what did you guys want? Number 8? Number 8? Number 2 is better than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you know what? There is the possibility of trades. Trading down, getting more picks, maybe getting a goaltender. I'm telling you, defense. Right now, currently, the Devils need a few players. And what is your philosophy on drafting? That's what I want to ask you. What's your philosophy? Do you draft best player available, or you draft out of necessity, out of need? That's a good question. What Tom Fitzgerald's going to do with this second overall pick? What is he going to do? Is he going to trade down? Do you want him to trade down to get more assets back, more immediate assets back? Because that number 2 overall pick is just as sexy as the first overall. At least the number 2 pick, you've got choices. When it's first overall, it's the obvious choice usually. The Devils need a power forward. They definitely need a power forward. But I'll tell you, I like Fabian Zetterlund. I like his attitude. I like the edge that the kid plays. I love all these Utica Comet players. How they developed. And that gives me hope. It should give you hope. Should absolutely give you hope. And I'll tell you. These New Jersey Devils, boy, do they piss you off sometimes. But times like these, you know what? Just enjoy it. Don't overanalyze it. You got the number 2 overall pick. Now, I've been critical of ownership. I've been critical of David Blitzer. We have a little fun with it. I've been critical about Joshua Harris. I've been critical about just about everything. There's a lot to criticize here. But enjoy it. You've got the number 2 overall pick. Montreal Canadiens, that market, the rumors are going to be flying what they're going to do with the first overall pick. Is it they're going to go with the consensus choice? I don't know. This is the same team that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but again, that was a different format, a different time period. How did that happen? I don't know. And what are your thoughts? It's hard for me to keep up with the comments. YouTube Live, you guys are great. You guys are great. Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal is working late today. He's out on the West Coast. Beer Baron and Shorts Guy, they're teachers. They're probably grading papers. Looking to see if we can get some guests on to get their reaction. Vinny Parisi, I think it's his 6-month anniversary. Yeah. The Juice Man 4, totally open to trading 2023 first now. 2023 draft is pretty deep. It's pretty deep. And you know the NHL has the rule right now, like how many first overall picks you have. So you know what? I'm kind of glad that the Devils got the number 2. I'm kind of glad. Lost Company said you can't trade the number 2 pick. Look, you can trade anything. You can trade anything. It's just a matter of what you're going to get back. What kind of price that people want to pay. Art Heaton jumping the Flyers and knocking them down at position is worth anything. Art Heaton, I saw you at Todd's Lounge 973 the other day. He introduced himself. Pre-game destination, the official pre-game destination of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Game Day Live, Devils After Dark. Vinny Parisi and Scotty did a heck of a job last season. It's not easy doing 82 games. Not easy to get up, especially with this team last season. All the ups and downs. The downs were really bad. Patrick Waugh was traded. Anyone can be traded, says Getty 27. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to get your reactions. We got a lot of people on YouTube Live. We got a lot of people on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, Twitch. Going solo. I am your host, Sam Wu. This is the Wu Report, episode 190. Devils get number 2 overall pick in 2022 NHL Draft. It's the same old story, but there's a difference this season. Getting a top 5 pick compared to previous seasons, even when the Devils got first overall. The AHL team is good, scary good. And I'm talking about the Utica Comets. I'm going to check on the scores as I'm on air right now, live, talking to you. The Utica Comets is what makes this number 2 overall pick even sweeter. Because they're in the playoffs. They started off really hot. They've got great goaltending with Nico Dawes, Akira Schmid, Marek Mittens. And we should be happy. We should be happy. Because if the farm system was like crap, I'd be a little worried. I'd be very worried. But I'm not worried. And you shouldn't too. Tom Fitzgerald's not making any knee-jerk reactions. He's definitely not. He's sticking to his guns. That Lindy Ruff is the coach. I know some of you don't think so. I think Lindy Ruff's the coach. I know I have fundamental disagreements with Scotty at SiriusXM, Liquid Metal on Devils After Dark. I know Nick Villano has questioned why I have this thing about Lindy Ruff. It's not like I have a thing of Lindy Ruff. It's just you've got a top 5 coach that's willing to put up with a rebuild and get this team to where it needs to be. And they need to take that extra step. Goaltending was an issue. Not so much on Lindy Ruff. I think it was more on Tom Fitzgerald. Strike 1, Corey Crawford, didn't work out. Okay, strike 2, Jonathan Bernier. Mackenzie Blackwood, Mac Black, out a lot of times. but he needs to get healthy. Scott Wedgwood, you let him walk. Can't really go too hard on Tom Fitzgerald. At the time, he had 2 goaltenders. Louis Domingue. How come Louis Domingue is having success with the Pittsburgh Penguins? How about and Scott Wedgwood? Is goaltending really the issue, or is it defense? Elaine Nasruddin is no longer here. Who will they bring in? Are they going to bring in Lindy's guys? Maybe that's something we didn't talk about. Nasruddin was a holdover, filling in as an interim coach after John Hines was fired. Maybe a different voice, a different coach would make this team better defensively. We talked about the NFZ, the no fun zone, clogging up the middle, using the defense's God-given gift of size and length to be a disruption with those passing lanes and blocking shots. We need to see more of that. Absolutely, we need to see more of that. We need to put the D in Devils and D in defense next season. That should be the primary goal. Build up that defense. And you see what a great goaltender that the Rangers have in Igor Shesterkin, having a Vezina Hart Trophy winning type season, but still get exposed in the playoffs. You still need to play good defense. It's more than just good goaltending. More than just good goaltending. Only you can have a great goaltender like Martin Brodeur that can mask all your flaws, but you really need to get the fundamentals back there. You need to play well defensively and not leave your goalie out to dry. The days of Scott Stevens, Ken Danico, Scott Niedermayer, Brian Rafalski, that was a great defense. That was a great defense. It didn't matter what goaltender you put there. It just happened that they had the best goaltender with the best goaltender for their system. And the chemistry was amazing back there. They had leadership. They had toughness, grit. They blocked shots, discipline, team first concept. They bought in. And it still seems like the Devils have bought in. Damon Severson is going to be an interesting question. What happens to Damon Severson? He's going to get bigger money, and he deserves it. He says he wants to stay here. But the Devils could get a lot for Damon Severson. And I'm not saying Damon Severson should be traded away. Absolutely not. He showed his value when Dougie Hamilton went down with injury. Dougie Hamilton had the awful jaw injury, came back, wasn't himself, didn't have that swagger. But hopefully that changes come September training camp. Eric, I don't want to hear any more of trade the pick rhetoric from Devils fans. They would be absolutely moronic to trade away from the number 2 spot in this draft. Yes and no. It depends upon what. I agree with you for the most part. But look, if somebody gave you 2 first rounders in 2023 just to move over to second overall, I say I take that. It all depends. Some of these GMs could be moronic. Remember how the Devils got Taylor Hall? That's the gift that keeps on giving. The Taylor Hall trade for Adam Larson. Basically, I mean, yeah, there was some other stuff in there. And then Taylor Hall gets traded and you get a lot back. Basically, you got Dawson Mercer, Kevin Ball. Nate Shar got us the Hamburglar, but I don't know where that's going. One of the picks got flipped for Jonas Siegenthaler. Siegenthaler had a very solid season for the New Jersey Devils. And we shall see. We shall see. Want to get your questions and comments? Vincent Hatt, deep positioning in our zone was atrocious all year. 3 guys in the corner, open players in front, over and over. Yep, that's the NFZ, the no fun zone. They need to play better. And they need to play as a unit, a cohesive unit. You know, you're not expected to be perfect out there defensively, but my goodness, you need to have your teammates to help you out, bail you out in certain situations. But when all 3 guys are, stuck in the corner and leaving the crease wide open, the high danger area is what the analytics folks say, that's not good for the New Jersey Devils. Not good. I will tell you this, though. Second overall pick. Do you get a sniper? Do you get a power forward? There's plenty to choose from. But is it too high of a pick? I don't know. My gut instinct says go for defense. If you need to trade down, there's a team willing, but you still get your guy. You could do that too. Goaltending? Well, I'm a firm believer you do not need to have a first round pick to have a franchise goaltender. Shesterkin on the Rangers, Henrik Lundqvist, 4th and 6th round. The Pittsburgh Penguins, aside from Marc-Andre Fleury, they've had some goaltenders that weren't exactly first rounders, with the exception of Marc-Andre Fleury. The Chicago Blackhawks, 3 Stanley Cups, had solid goaltending, but were they any of them in the first round picks? Matt Freudenberger, let me tell you something. I'll be at Brother Michael's wedding this Friday. I wanted the Devils to trade the pick if we didn't move up. But now that we have picking second, might as well take a scoring winner. Yeah. Tony P., the draft is rigged. Montreal stole the number 1 overall pick. Well, they need some help. Marty St. Louis, the head coach, he's going to have a say in who they pick. More comments, questions, Facebook Live at Let's Go Devils Podcast, YouTube channel Let's Go Devils, our Twitter account at Let's Go Devils Pod. Let's go to Twitter. I haven't gone there. It's just hard to keep up with all the comments and questions that you may have. But the Devils, they're doing well, my friends. They're doing well. Also, I want to thank all those listening, watching us. We weren't expecting this, but since the season's been over, the regular season for the New Jersey Devils, our podcast numbers are through the roof. So we're going to continue. We have a saying here at the Let's Go Devils podcast. We have no off season. If we could figure out how to talk about Devils hockey for 9.5 months during a shutdown pandemic, we could figure out a couple measly months in the NHL offseason to talk Devils hockey. But right now, you should be happy. It's a happy Devils Tuesday. Devils get the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. I'm your host, Sam Wu. This is the Wu Report, episode 190, here on the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network, powered by Primetime Radio. So, yeah, 2nd overall pick. Gets me excited. We'll be scouting around tomorrow. We've got the State of the Fan address. Nick Villano and I, pucksandpitchforks.com. If you haven't gone there, pucksandpitchforks.com. Editor-in-chief and I will be talking about this 2nd overall pick. It's kind of got us excited again. I think it's got the media circles excited again because the Devils are in the top 3 again. The number 2 in 2022. First is worst, second is best. That's what I say. You can find me on Twitter at PrimetimeSamWoo. This is the Woo Report. And I'm pretty happy right now. You've got to be happy. I'm very happy. I'm so happy that we're getting your rapid reaction on this podcast. Vinny Parisi put it out there. My co-host, the Game Day Live, said, if the Devils get the first overall pick and I get 1,000 likes, I'll dye my hair red. I think Vinny Parisi should dye his hair red anyway. I'll bring it up to him. Yes, Vinny Parisi, pucksandpitchforks.com, contributor extraordinaire. I'll talk to him about that. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Checking the scores right now. More interested right now. Turning my attention to the Utica Comets. Because it's Utica. It all flows through Utica. The second overall pick is the icing on the cake, but really the main prize is the Utica Comets are in the playoffs looking for the Calder Trophy. And can you imagine if they get the Calder Trophy? They win the cup at the AHL level. It will give fans, it should give Devils fans a tremendous amount of hope, momentum. The organization has seen a ton of losing, but we get to see some winning for a change. Looking up what the score is right now. Well, it's first period in the books, 2-0 Rochester. Well, you know what? Team's a little rusty. I'm sure there's going to be adjustments made by yours truly, Kevin Dineen. Don't panic, Devils fans. There's no need to panic. It's just part of the rebuilding process. If they don't trade it, pick Cooley and don't think twice. Says Shane Van Sickle. All right, well, dropping the podcast at midnight for your morning commute. Keep it here. Keep it real. Be happy, Devils fans. Just be happy. No more negativity. The Devils got the second overall pick. Again, repeat. The Devils have the second overall pick. It's yours. The team is blossoming. Or at least in the AHL level. It's going to take a little bit more time. In Lindy we trust. I know you guys want Trotzy. Barry Trotz. But that's okay. It's good to agree to disagree here on the podcast. I'm your host, Sam Woo, signing off on a happy Devils Tuesday. Good luck to the Utica Comets. Good luck to you. You can walk into work tomorrow by the water cooler and be like, you know what? We got the second overall pick. And it makes me feel good. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.